Hi, welcome back. I'm Alaina. By the end of this video, I'll show you how to unlock your superpower to overcome fear to lead a successful business. So stay tuned. First, I'm going to identify what fear really is and how to clear what's causing it in the first place. Then I'll provide you with a powerful tool that destroys the power that fear is holding over you. Next, the one thing that you're probably focusing on right now that actually drums up even more fear. And then this one thing you could be focusing on that will actually help keep you on course. By the end of this video, you'll learn how to take your power back, conquer fear, and gain momentum in your business. So let's dive in. Now, what is fear anyway, right? It is the threat of harm, real or imagined. Now, 90% of what people are actually afraid of never actually come true. What they're actually doing is projecting their past experiences onto their future reality, and that is what's causing fear. They're afraid they're going to experience something from their past into the future rather than being in the present moment right now. Or they're imagining and making up stories about what could go wrong. And the more that we focus on what could go wrong, the greater likelihood that that's actually going to happen. Because where our focus goes, our energy grows. That's really key. Wherever you're putting your focus and attention is what your energy is growing in your lived experience. So if you're constantly afraid of failure, afraid of success, whatever the fear is, then ultimately it's creating more of that experience in your reality. Now here's the key when you start identifying your fear and where it's showing up in your life. Excuses are really just fear in disguise. I can't do that because, but wait if this happens, but yeah, whatever it is, those are really excuses, are fear in disguise. And when you see them for what they are, because honestly, it isn't the thing that you think is the thing that's going on. It's a thing underlying the thing. And you have to get to what's underlying it to be able to clear it in the first place. So as I was just saying, identifying is the first key, and then the second step is being able to clear them. Now here are the fears that I most commonly see in business. Fear of failure, fear of success, fear of not being good enough, fear of rejection, fear of not being capable, fear of not being able to do it, fear of burning out or working crazy hard, fear that money is hard to make. And ultimately, a lot of it is about fear of uncertainty and the unknown. Right? I had a client who I was helping make more money in her business. We helped her raise her prices, and she was about to start making offers at her new prices. And then she went into lockdown and she stopped enrolling clients. And I was like, what's going on? And what the fear really was that she was afraid she was going to work more. She had had major financial issues a few years before that. And as a result, she went into working all the time. And so the idea of taking on more clients to her meant that she was going to go back to working all the time. And when we cleared that fear to realize what it really was, she literally enrolled 4 clients in 6 weeks at her next level price, which was, she was already at a 5-figure offer, and so she 50% raised her offer. It was incredible what happened in a very short period of time when she realized she actually had plenty of time, and she wasn't going to go back into the overworking that she experienced before because she was coming from a different place now. She'd cleared so many of those limiting beliefs. Now, so many people, when they have these fear, what happens is they go into their sympathetic nervous system. They go into some form of fight, flight, or freeze, and we are the only critters on the earth that we know of who can actually create fear and fight, flight, or freeze from our thoughts alone. When you think about, let's say, a deer, when a deer outruns a coyote, assuming it did outrun a coyote, within 20 minutes, it is back in its parasympathetic nervous system grazing again. Now humans, what happens to a human? Oh my God, did you hear? I almost got eaten by a coyote. 3 days later, they're like, holy crap, I almost got eaten by a coyote. A year later, 10 years later, they're in therapy because they're still feeling trauma from being eaten by the coyote. Now, I am not downplaying trauma at all, but we are creating it from our thoughts alone and from the meaning that we're making out of it. And when we learn how to control our thinking, then we can control our feelings and control how we react or respond to situations that are happening like that in our lives. So one of my favorite tools to use is I have my clients fear journal because it takes the power away. And you're like, okay, Alaina, what the heck is fear journaling? I understand what journaling is, but what's fear journaling? So many times what happens with fear is it's not actually the fear itself that's getting in the way. It's you trying to get rid of the fear that's actually causing the problem, right? We're actually rejecting our own feelings. We're feeling this fear and we're rejecting our own feelings and we're trying to get rid of it. And in the process of trying to get rid of it, we anchor it in even more. And so fear journaling is a way to help you remove, allow the fear to move through you so you're not stuffing it down and repressing it and having it build up even more. So the first thing that you're going to do is write down what you want. Whatever it is, write down what you want. I want a 7-figure business. I want X amount of clients this week. Whatever it is, write down what you want. Now write down what you believe will happen if you go for it in vivid detail. Do not hold back. Don't censor yourself. You can know that it's not true. In vivid detail, write down everything that you can think of that will happen if you actually go for what you want. Now, step 3 is identify the excuses that are holding you back. They may not feel like excuses. They may feel really real to you, but identify whatever those are in the moment. Now, then describe the worst case scenario on a scale of 1 to 10. If I go for this and this excuse happens, what is the worst case scenario? And rate it on a 1 to 10. Now you're going to get a little bit creative and you're going to brainstorm what'll happen if those worst case scenarios happen. What would you do if that really happened? So I have this worst case scenario. Okay, I'm going to go for it and I'm going to empty my bank account. If I emptied my bank account, what's the worst case scenario? If that was the worst case scenario, I couldn't pay my bills, etc. And believe me, I've been in this situation before. I understand this. What would you actually do about it? Right? What could you possibly do about it as a result? Now, here's where you're going to flip it on its head, because what I want you to write down is what happens if you don't go for that dream. If you hold yourself back because of the fear, what happens if you don't go for it? And again, write it in vivid detail. Now you're going to write everything positive that could happen if you did go for it. And it will shift the energy you have around the fear if you do this process as a result. I love helping leaders and entrepreneurs create successful businesses working less. And so I would love for you to subscribe to this channel to make sure you stay up to date on content so you can learn exactly how to go from where you are in struggling in your business to quantum leap to the next level. So one of the other things that creates a fear is not knowing the how. I cannot tell you how many people will say to me, I don't know how. Okay, I set this goal, I want to do this, I don't know how. Well, here's the thing, we're not meant to know the how. The universe's job is the how. We're just meant to take the next step. So what that means is when you make a clear decision, the decision comes first. When you make a clear decision, I am absolutely doing this, and basically the definition of decision really is burning the bridges, right? So you've essentially said, I am doing this. I am making this decision. I am going to make this happen. You make this decision. It isn't casual, yeah, I'll make the decision if. Right? It's not casual. If this works, then I'll be able to do it. No, you make the decision. I am doing it. That's the first step. And when you make the decision, then the universe starts to organize to create the steps and bring it into place once you've made the decision. It will reveal the next step. The next step is always revealed. And it may feel scary because you don't know the whole how, but as soon as you step on that one stepping stone and take the next step after that is revealed. And you will get revealed stepping stone after stepping stone and know exactly how to move with ease and grace to accomplish it once you let go of having to know the how. And I'll be honest, having to know the how is only control in the first place. It feels safe to us to control and know how to do it. It doesn't feel safe to the subconscious mind to move into the unknown. There really is nothing scary about that. I talk a lot about your superconscious mind, what I call your higher self. Your higher self, it isn't in the unknown. Your higher self already knows how to do it. It's a future version of you. It's already done it before. So there's no fear for your higher self. There's only fear for your ego mind, your subconscious mind. And as you take that next step, you will see the how be revealed to you. One of the keys is to focus on the why. There may be some wavering in there as you're looking for the next step, where that next step is. Allow it to come to you first of all, but understand when you focus on your why do I want to do this? Really ground in your why. Your why will keep you grounded to your decision as you go along. So keep coming back to your real why about your doing this. I have to tell you, one of my clients, when I was on my sales call with her, she told me that she's a book coach, and what she really wanted to do was she really wanted to create a publishing house that had every aspect of the book publishing so people could come to. And I was like, why do you want to do that? She said, so people don't have to experience what she experienced and having to figure it out for herself. And I was like, no, that's not your real why. Why do you want to do it? You told me that you've been wanting to do this since you were 6 years old. What happened when you were 6 years old? And she started to cry. And she said, I became homeless when I was 6 years old. And I wanted to tell my story. And I want to create a safe place for other people to be able to tell their story too. That's a why. That's a why that will keep you really grounded to why you're doing what you're doing. That's the kind of why you're looking at. Go a level deeper and find your why. Now, here's the last piece about this to move through the fear, is you don't actually need the fear gone to take the action. We think we need the fear gone to take the action. Feel the fear and do it anyway. Right? That really is what courage is. Courage isn't not feeling fear anymore. I don't know if that ever actually really happens. Courage is really feeling the fear and doing it anyway. So regardless, take the action. And the more that you're stepping into that action, the more confidence you'll feel as you're doing it, and it will naturally dissipate the fear. And make sure you do that fear journaling, because it will allow you to really dissipate the fear that you're afraid of. Take the action anyway. It's the way to move forward. It's not going to happen from you sitting on your couch wondering how you're going to do it or how you're going to get rid of the fear. It happens when you take the action. So one of the ways to lead a successful business is realize working all the time isn't the direct path to the level of success you want. I have created this free mini course on 5 ways to shave 20 to 30 hours off of your work week while working less. And honestly, it is the exact strategies. My team told me to take some out. They told me I was over-delivering here. And I'm like, no, I'm giving everybody the real deal. This is exactly the process I use to help my high-paying people who pay me upwards of $50,000 to collapse their time in their business and work 20 to 30 hours a week. And it's absolutely free. So make sure you grab it right now. Register in the link below. Thanks, I'm Alaina, and I'll see you in the next video.